For decades, Silicon Valley was obsessed with code, faster processors, better algorithms, scalable software, cloud architecture, user growth curves. Infrastructure meant servers and fiber. Electricity was just assumed. But in 2026, that assumption is gone. Silicon Valley is now obsessed with something far less glamorous: power infrastructure, transformers, transmission lines, substations, nuclear partnerships, grid capacity studies. Why? Because in the AI era, electricity has become the ultimate growth constraint. Let's start with the most obvious shift. Artificial intelligence runs on compute, and compute runs on power. Training advanced AI models requires massive clusters of high-performance chips operating simultaneously for extended periods. Inference, the real-time deployment of AI services, requires constant uptime and large-scale processing capacity. Modern AI data centers don't consume power like traditional server farms. They consume power like industrial facilities. Some campuses request hundreds of megawatts at a time. Multi-site expansions approach gigawatt-level demand. That scale fundamentally changes the conversation.
This is why the US data center boom could rewrite our economy. Let's start with what's happening. Over the last 2 years, the demand for computing power has exploded. Artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and streaming have all converged into a single megatrend, one that requires more physical infrastructure than most people realize. AI isn't floating in the cloud. It lives in racks of servers, machines that need electricity, cooling, fiber optic connections, and land. A lot of land. And America is building like never before. According to CBRE, US data center capacity has doubled since 2022, and another doubling is projected by 2027. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Meta have collectively announced over $150 billion in new data center investments. States like Iowa, Georgia, and Ohio are now home to some of the world's largest server campuses. To put it simply, these aren't just buildings, they're power plants for the digital economy. So, why is this boom happening now? 3 big reasons. First, the AI revolution. Training artificial intelligence models like ChatGPT, image generators, or autonomous driving systems requires enormous computing resources. Each new generation of AI doubles or triples the power needed. That's why tech giants are racing to build their own data centers. They no longer want to rent computing capacity. They want to own it. Whoever controls the most efficient compute infrastructure controls the future of AI. Second, reshoring and security. The pandemic, cyber attacks, and geopolitical tensions taught US companies and policymakers a painful lesson. Relying on overseas digital infrastructure is risky. So now, there's a push to bring data capacity home, to build secure, US-based hubs that can power everything from government databases to private sector AI labs. Third, economic opportunity. Data centers have become the new manufacturing plants. They require construction crews, electricians, engineers, technicians, and fiber specialists. Cities that attract them are seeing billion-dollar investments and long-term tax bases. Places like Northern Virginia, once known for suburban sprawl, have transformed into what's now called Data Center Alley. Loudoun County alone hosts more than 30 million square feet of server space, more than anywhere else in the world. But this boom isn't just changing skylines, it's rewriting economic geography. A decade ago, most big tech infrastructure sat near the coasts, Silicon Valley, Seattle, New York. Now, it's moving inland. Why? Because data centers need cheap power, abundant land, and strong fiber networks, things you'll find in places like Kansas, Nebraska, and Tennessee, not San Francisco or Manhattan. This shift is redistributing tech investment across America, creating what some analysts call a digital heartland. Small towns once known for factories or farmland are now competing to host the next wave of AI infrastructure. In places like Mesa, Arizona, and Council Bluffs, Iowa, farmland is turning into high-tech real estate. And for local economies, the payoff is real. Each new facility can cost billions to build and employ hundreds during construction. The long-term operational jobs are fewer, but they're high-paying and highly skilled. More importantly, data centers attract an entire ecosystem: fiber installers, equipment suppliers, maintenance teams, and renewable energy projects. Which brings us to the biggest challenge: power. Data centers are energy monsters. A single large facility can use as much electricity as 50,000 homes. Multiply that by hundreds of new sites, and you begin to see the pressure this boom is placing on America's grid. Utilities in Virginia and Georgia are already warning of strain. The U.S. Energy Information Administration estimates that data centers could soon consume nearly 10% of all U.S. electricity, up from about 4% today. That's a massive jump, and it's why energy companies, tech firms, and policymakers are suddenly in deep collaboration. To keep this boom sustainable,